On this week's edition of the Loud Nerd in the Basement podcast, I go over the Deathstroke and Bane movie in development at DC Films, Fast and Furious getting not one but four TV shows developed for Peacock, Marvel's VisionQuest show getting a release date, and Tatiana Maslany talking a potential She-Hulk return. All this and more on the Loud Nerd in the Basement podcast. Well, welcome back to another Friday News Roundup edition of the Loud Nerd in the Basement podcast. As always, I'm your host, Adam Zolnai. Thank you so much for listening, wherever you may be, whether it's through Substack, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or, as I've just recently added, YouTube. Yes, all these episodes are now available on YouTube as well. You just search Loud Nerd in the Basement, and it should pop up, and every episode will be released on there the same time as any episode on the other podcast platforms. So if that's how you want to listen to the show, that's fine. Subscribe, hit the like button, all that jazz. As always, I really appreciate you listening and your support, whether it's just reading and listening and commenting and liking my posts on Substack or being a paid member, which you can always upgrade your subscription if you want the full experience. I offer a paid tier at $6 a month or $50 a year. And with that paid subscription, you'll get access to me to ask questions that I will answer right here on the podcast, along with the ability to request reviews for my monthly rewind that I will release on the first Monday of every month, unless there's a spoiler cast, which you will also get access to. Any spoiler review that I do for major movies like Supergirl, Disclosure Day, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, Dune Part 3. All of those will be getting spoiler reviews in addition to the spoiler-free reviews that all subscribers will get access to. So, if you want to do that, or if you just want to support my work, which I would really appreciate. Again, I'm trying to make this a business, and if I can get any support from you guys, that would be great. But if all you can do right now is listen and read and comment and like, I really appreciate that too. I understand that times are a little tough right now and people's budgets may be tight. Totally understand that. Any support that you can give me, I appreciate. As always, thank you so much. And with that, let's get into the news, shall we? So, first up, as I said before, DC Studios is reportedly making a Bane and Deathstroke movie. It's very early on, according to Deadline. There's no script, and they're still eyeing some directors to helm the project. This has been rumored for a while. Apparently, back in, what was it, 2024, one of the writers for Moon Knight said that he was scripting this movie. I have to admit, I don't like this idea at all. For one, Bane and Deathstroke aren't characters that really interact a lot with each other in the comics. They're usually not guys that work together or hang out or really do anything or team up. They're usually separate. They usually have Bane teaming up with maybe Ra's al Ghul, like in The Dark Knight Rises, or by himself most of the time. And then same with Deathstroke. Deathstroke is usually just an assassin for hire that usually goes out to kill the Bat when someone puts a price on his head, like in the game Batman Arkham Origins. Great game if you haven't played that, by the way. But I just don't think it's a good idea. Again, I do not understand this obsession with doing a bunch of villain movies without Batman in them. Like, we're already getting Clayface this year, and that's our first look at the DCU's version of Gotham. We have had the Joker, which, again, I heard was good. I still have to watch that. The Penguin Show, which I did enjoy and is attached to the Batman universe with Robert Pattinson. But I just don't know why we need to go through all of Batman's rogues and make a movie without Batman. I'd much rather see Batman fight Deathstroke in a movie, like we've been hinted at since the Zack Snyder era. I don't understand why we need to make a villain movie just about them. Again, unless you're going to make it to where Batman's like the boogeyman bad guy and we focus on the villain's perspective, which could be interesting. I don't really care about this. I don't know what you would do. Again, is it just going to be Bane and Deathstroke fighting? I mean, that'd be cool for a scene or two in a Batman movie, but I don't need a full hour and a half, 2 hour movie about it. So this is a no for me right now. It's going to have to do a lot to win me over. Again, I don't see what story you can do here that would be interesting. 'Cause I'd just be sitting here the whole time going, I'd rather see this version of Deathstroke and Bane fight Batman. That's why I read the comics. Like Deathstroke has had some miniseries here and there in the comics, and obviously he's got his big acclaim to fame is fighting the Teen Titans mostly. Which I don't know why you wouldn't save him for a Titans movie or anything like that. I know they're going to eventually do that. You'd have to think, especially with the era that James Gunn seems to be fond of. Like, there's no way that Teen Titans movie is not coming down the pike eventually. So I really do not understand the logic behind this one. And again, maybe the script will be good, maybe the story will be good. It's going to take a lot to win me over on this one because I can't say I'm excited about this. But speaking of not getting excited about stuff, Vin Diesel is talking about Fast and Furious and confirmed, he said, and I quote, Peacock is launching 4 shows in the Fast and Furious universe. And apparently they're in various stages of development. Peacock has now announced a release date. Vin Diesel is on board as an executive producer, but all we know is that there's going to be a movie in 2028 that finally finishes this franchise, and then apparently now we're getting spin-off shows. And again, like the Deathstroke and Bane idea, I don't know what you would do here. There's there's not really. I mean, what stories can you tell? I mean, maybe like a prequel based on Vin Diesel's character, but I don't know if Vin Diesel's ego would allow someone else to play him. Like I could see him be like, "No, you're gonna de-age me, and I'm gonna be here all the time playing my character Dominic Toretto. No one else plays Dom." So besides that, how'd you like that Vin Diesel impression? Corona family, yeah, all the memes. But I don't know how you can do 4 spin-offs. Like the movies themselves are having trouble making compelling enough stories for people to get behind them. I mean, there's a reason that the last one has been delayed so heavily. Most of it's just due to budget. Like Universal doesn't want to shell out the money for another Fast and Furious sequel because the last couple didn't make as much money. The height of the series really seemed to be Furious 7, and that I hate to say it, this isn't to be disrespectful. I think a lot of it was people wanted to see what they would do with the Brian Walker situation. Or Paul Walker, I'm sorry, not Brian Walker. His name is, I think, Brian in the movies. I've only seen Furious 7. I know I'll turn to my nerd card and movie card right here. I eventually want to get around to see the rest of the movies, but just haven't had the time. And I mean, there's so many now. I mean, they're on what, 13, 12, or 11. So it's one of those things where I don't see what story you could tell. The Fast and Furious universe is not that big. I mean, Hobbs and Shaw, which is the other Fast and Furious movie that I've seen, was a fun spin-off. I enjoyed it as like a fun, generic, turn your brain off action blockbuster movie. But it's not one of those things where I'm like eager to see this universe expand. Again, I don't know what stories you can tell. That's for me that's what I always come back to is do you have a story to tell or are you just going to take the IP and slap some you take what random script and just slap an IP on it? Cuz for me most of the time those just do not work. It's when you actually have a story for the characters involved in the franchise where those seems to have the most success. And I don't see how you can build out that unless you're just again going to do prequel shows for all the main characters. You just have a young Paul Walker, a young Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto, a young Rock. Like I don't know what you do here because most of the actors that work on these movies probably aren't doing a TV show unless they're willing to shell out a bunch of money to do so. And again, I just don't see Universal wanting to do that. And I feel like Fast and Furious had its time, and we moved on. Like, again, no insult. Like those movies, I have nothing against them. I'm not one of those people like, oh, they shouldn't exist. They're not real movies. Like, I'm not one of those guys, but I just don't think that there's a hunger for this franchise there was 10 years ago. Like again, the height was probably Furious 7 or Fate Fast and Furious Fate of the Furious 8 or whatever the eighth movie was called. I can't keep track of them at this point. Something fast, something furious. That's what one of the shows should be, just kind of fast, kind of furious. I don't know. It's just there's really nothing here to latch onto. And again, they could win me over, but I just don't know how it just doesn't come across as, oh, we had a script lying around and we smacked the Fast and Furious label on it. So we'll see. I think part of it is Vin Diesel. This really is the only franchise that he's got. He's I mean he had Riddick, but those movies didn't make a lot of money. He was Groot in Guardians, but again that people didn't go to those movies for him, and he only really said one line with a couple variations. So it's not like people are clamoring to go see the Guardians movie because Vin Diesel's in it. So I understand why he's got such an attachment to this franchise. And he legitimately seems to care about like the characters and everything. And again, some of it seems to be ego, considering from what I've heard that there's literally like character cards or whatever that basically power levels that they assign to each character D&D style to make sure that no one loses a fight, or no character can beat another character unless they can have it balance out somewhere in the film later on in the film. It's just I think that's why Vin Diesel's really pushing this. Is just because he doesn't have many other franchises left. I mean, again, no offense to the guy. I don't hate him as an actor or as a person. I just he's not in big demand, so I think he's just really clinging on to the one franchise that's made him a name. So we'll see on that, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll actually see those come to fruition. And actually, speaking, it's all TV shows really. Besides the Bane and Deathstroke news, all of this news is mostly on nerdy TV shows. Which, hey, fine with me. I don't mind talking about those. But moving on to the MCU, Tatiana Maslany, who played She-Hulk / Jennifer Walters in the She-Hulk Disney Plus show, She-Hulk Attorney at Law, talked about what a potential return would look like. Obviously, she's not on the list for Doomsday and Secret Wars, but again, who knows if how much that is a factor. They could be keeping secrets from us. Like I could see her showing up in Secret Wars again, especially if they do the Battle World storyline. Like I could see her showing up there, even if it's just for a cameo kind of a thing. But when asked about it, she said, and I quote, "Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it would take somebody like Jessica Gao to weave her into that world because she knows that character so deeply and loves her and gets her tone. But there is something about She-Hulk being the star of her own show that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Because of the direct address, she is our narrator. So I think it would be a really cool challenge to see her in some other context. But I do think the sort of joy of She-Hulk is the singularness of it." Jessica Gao, for those of you who don't know, she was the main, I believe, showrunner and writer for the She-Hulk show. And I'll get this out of the way now. I didn't mind the She-Hulk show. It was a little disappointing. My biggest criticism is I felt that they couldn't find the right balance between it just being a goofy half-hour comedy where you just sit back, laugh for a half hour, and then don't really take it too seriously. Like it's just there for laughs, kind of like a Seinfeld, where it's like we're not there for the deep character journey, of the main players in the show. We're there because they make us laugh for a half hour, and then we come back the next week and do it all over again. So I felt like they couldn't find that balance of trying to show Jennifer's journey accepting herself as She-Hulk with also wanting to make it just a half-hour comedy show. It also didn't help that the writers literally came out and said they didn't know how to write courtroom drama, so they didn't put those scenes in the show. And it's like, well, you're writing a lawyer show and you're saying you don't know how to do courtroom drama. Why are you here? And of course, the biggest thing that show I think really is known for is bringing back Charlie Cox's Daredevil to the MCU proper for the very first time. I remember people clamoring, and that is the best episode of the show. Again, I didn't hate it. As someone who's enjoyed She-Hulk in the comics and has some of her comics, I didn't fully enjoy the characterization they had for her. I felt because the whole point of She-Hulk is she's kind of the opposite of the Hulk, her cousin, where her becoming She-Hulk makes her more confident and more, um, what's the right word? It gives her more self-actualization. Like, oh, She-Hulk is the real me. Like when I was in my normal human form, I was timid, I was shy, I was very uh, insecure, but becoming She-Hulk allowed me to feel like I can be my true self and gave her the confidence. And the show really never did that. And I mean, again, I won't go into all the culture war stuff. I do think it felt a little bit like old people looking at Reddit and being like, I'm going to complain about people on the internet. So there was a little bit of that, but overall, again, I didn't hate the show. I haven't gone back and watched it. As far as her returning, again, I could see her come back to the MCU as like a cameo or a small role in Secret Wars. Again, there was some leaked concept art allegedly of Doomsday and Secret Wars that included her and Hulk on it. I think we're going to ignore the whole Scar plotline where Hulk has a son from that show, which again feels so out of left field. Where it was just like, oh, and we're doing a Planet Hulk movie happened off screen. Here you go. That was another thing that was just very very random for that show. Um, but I could see her showing up in Secret Wars, and again, I think they're just starting to film that right now. So obviously, if she is in it, maybe she hasn't gotten the call yet, or she has to be quiet because the Disney snipers have her in their sights 24/7. So that could be a thing of it. But overall, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing her come back, especially I know she liked Jessica Gal, but personally, I think I want a writer that really understands and knows that character well, and I don't think that show fully captured it. Again, not a bad show. I'm not one of those people like, "Brr, female superhero." Again, I love She-Hulk. I just think the uh, the show could have been better. And I hope that if they do bring Jessica Gal back, maybe she'll have a better understanding of the character, or be able have grown as a writer since then. So we'll see. I do think there's a chance that we see her again before whatever reboot comes after Secret Wars. But moving on to another bit of Disney Plus news. There's a VisionQuest show that's been talked about basically since WandaVision, where if you don't remember because that show was somehow in 2021, my gosh, I can't believe it's been 5 years already. At the end of that show, Vision gets resurrected as White Vision, um, and floats away from the town that Wanda had kept basically under her control for however long to go find himself, we assume. And for a long time, Disney's been hinting at this uh, coming them, or I should say, Marvel Studios has hinted at picking up that plot thread. And apparently now we know that the Vision Quest show will come out on Disney Plus on October 14th. Paul Bettany is going to be returning as Vision, obviously, but we're also going to get some other returning actors from the MCU, including James Spader as Ultron, which I love him as Ultron. I really enjoy Age of Ultron. I know it's got problems, but I might like it even a little bit more than the first Avengers movie. Again, I don't think there's a bad Avengers movie right now, but Age of Ultron I might be. Infinity War is one of my favorite MCU movies of all time, so it's up there. But Age of Ultron I really enjoyed. So to see James Spader back as Ultron would be really cool, and it'd be interesting to see how they bring him back. And they, according to the synopsis that was released, be Vision will be pursued by a bounty hunter called Paladin, who will be played by Todd Stashwick, and he's trying to find Vision. And we also get Farron Tahir returns as Raza, the leader of the Ten Rings. Um, who that if you don't know who that is, he was in the first Iron Man movie, and he was the leader of the Ten Rings people that kidnapped Tony Stark. So we're bringing a lot of old people back, and they're also bringing back the human Jarvis, James D'Arcy, who played him in the Agent Carter TV series. Apparently, Dummy from Iron Man's coming back, and Edith Fry. So it's all the AIs and people that inspired them coming back. So that is going to be interesting, and I think that's cool that they bring that guy back. Apparently, he didn't die then in Iron Man, which is a little weird now that I think about it, because I'm pretty sure Stain has everyone killed in that camp. So I don't know. I'm sure they'll explain it in the show, hopefully. But that could be interesting, and I mean, I don't know how it will factor into the big picture overall. Again, maybe it's something where Vision convinces Ultron to become a force for good, and so you have all the AIs from over the years from the MCU taking out, helping the Avengers take out Doom at the end. I, it'll be interesting to see if it's that, or if this is just a little side story. And again, I wonder if they'll address Wanda's fate after Doctor Strange 2, because obviously in that one it looks like she died, but obviously there's no body, and in comic books and comic book movies, if there's no body, then there's no death. So it could be something where at the end of that show, Vision becomes the Vision that we know and love once more, and then he's like, "Oh, and I found Wanda." So we might get that, which would be cool. And again, that might be what sets up something in Secret Wars or Doomsday, especially because this. I mean, it doesn't say. Let me see how many episodes will Vision Quest have? Doing this in real time, people. Always prepared. It'll have 8 episodes. So if it comes out on October 14th, let me see. I'm going to look up a calendar. Again, we're doing math. You're going to do math with me. So 8 episodes. So it would end like around December 9th or December. So right before Doomsday. So there's a chance that it could tie in if they're timing it that way. And of course, some of it might also be too. They just need time to do special effects. But I mean, I'm excited to see this. I again, I like Paul Bettany as Vision, so I'm actually intrigued to see what they do here, and I'll be checking it out. But moving on to our last piece of news, more Disney Plus stuff. Again, I told you, very very heavy on the TV shows today. Star Wars Ahsoka Season 2 has been pushed back. Apparently, the rumors were that it was going to come out late this year, and now it's been pushed back to early 2027. Almost a little over 3 years after the first season. I'm not surprised about this for a couple reasons. One, it makes sense because if you're going to have Vision Quest coming out in October, you don't want to have a Star Wars show coming out at the same time. So you would have to have it come out probably in August or September, kind of like the first season. And then two, they might not be ready for that, and so you don't want to overcrowd. You want to have Marvel have its day and really build up momentum for Doomsday, and you don't want to get your Star Wars show lost in that shuffle. So it makes sense to push it back till after Doomsday comes out, or at least has been out in the theaters for a little bit. And then two, we do know that they have said that they are cutting budgets at Lucasfilm for some of these shows, because obviously, like Andor, I think costs like 600 million for both seasons, so just huge and huge amounts of money. So it makes sense that maybe they're trying to cut back the budget and maybe spread out the cost a little bit more, because obviously with the show like this, you're going to have special effects when it comes to the ships and all the lightsabers and stuff like that. There's going to be some effects heavy episodes on it, so it makes sense that maybe they're trying to scale that back and stretch out that time a little bit more to kind of cushion the impact of the budget. And obviously, this was in development before Kathleen Kennedy stepped down, so maybe there's also some retooling to kind of work it more towards what Dave Filoni wants to do with Star Wars. And we know that this was building to a Dave Filoni movie. Apparently, there was even a scrapped idea of doing a Mandalorian and Ahsoka crossover movie at one time. I'm kind of glad they're not doing that, just because I think it's a lot to ask for both Marvel and Star Wars to have required viewing for TV shows in order to enjoy the movies. I think MCU can get away with it a little bit more because it already was pre-established that, hey, this is a connected universe from the get-go, and like Star Wars has never really had that thing of, hey, you gotta see this, this, and this, or read this, this, and this in order to understand it. It's gotten to a little bit like that with the TV shows, but at least it's been consistent of, if you really want to get the full context for this TV show, go over Disney Plus and watch this TV show. Like, you're already on the same streaming platform. It's not like, hey, if you don't have Disney Plus, you gotta watch all these seasons of TV in order to stand this one movie. And I mean, Mandalorian and Grogu's doing that a little bit, although it seems to be a bit of a reset in terms of continuity, so that way audiences who haven't caught up can still enjoy the movie on its own. Uh, Again, we'll see when the movie comes out how much that holds true. Again, that's just my theory at this point, but I don't mind them pushing this back. Again, like I said, it's just there's already a lot, and again, I think right now the reason we're not seeing as much from Star Wars, as much as I am a little surprised that we didn't get any announcements for May the 4th, I think it makes sense. I guess it makes sense now that I think about it because, you have the transition from Kathleen Kennedy to Dave Filoni, and apologies, I can't remember the woman who will be taking over the more business and financial side of it. I apologize, I can't remember her name, but in fact, let me look it up. I want to give you guys the correct information. Again, I'm just professional here. Looks like it will be Lynn Brennan is her name, so she's going to be handling more of the financial and business side of things. So it may be something where they're like, hey, let's not put too many things into production before we've had a chance to really kind of get ourselves grounded in here and figure out what exactly we want to do and how we want to approach things going forward. So makes sense, and it also might be there like this way we can still have at least two Star Wars things come out in 2027, because obviously next year we have Star Wars Starfighter coming out, the movie with Ryan Gosling and Amy Adams, and so to have this and that come out in 2027, you at least have two Star Wars property or two Star Wars shows slash movies coming out, and then this year they've had Maul and of course Mandalorian and Grogu. So that might be their approach for the time being until they can kind of figure things out. Makes sense, but we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm interested to see how that show progresses. I wasn't the biggest fan of season one. I felt like there was a lot of retconning from what they did in Rebels with especially with Sabine, and again just didn't really flesh out the villain despite being having a great performance from Ray Stevenson, rest in peace. So I'm interested to see how they kind of maybe take some of those criticisms and improve upon the writing. We'll see. But that's all the news I had for today, and now it's time to go to our paid subscriber question section. Again, as always, all you have to do if you want to submit questions that I answer here on the podcast, upgrade your subscription, $6 a month. That's a cup of coffee for most people, so not asking too much from you. Just a little something again to help me start building up the Substack and being able to produce more quality content, maybe even get a better mic. Um, So if you want to do that, just upgrade your subscription. I really appreciate it. But this week's question is always from our dear friend Mr. Hyde, and this week's question was a little hard because he gave me some parameters, which I'm glad he did. It makes it more interesting. But his question was, which movie that is a video game adaptation actually did it justice? And he said that I couldn't count the Mario movies, which I was like, dang it, you took the easy one from me. But luckily, I was able to think of one, and the one my answer is going to be the Sonic movies. I really think, especially as they progressed, they really leaned more and more into the games, and you could feel that the people making these movies liked the games. I mean, they even brought Tails' voice actor, or I guess voice actress, back uh, from the cartoon on and the games on for the big screen. And Idris Elba as Knuckles is great. Ben Schwartz as Sonic is awesome. Uh, Jim Carrey is legendary as Dr. Eggman. Like he just jumped back into prime Jim Carrey from the 90s. Like it's great to see. He seems to be having a ball in those movies, and overall, I just think they really demonstrated how much they care. I mean, the fact that you had them push back the first movie to redesign Sonic to look more like the Sonic we know and love from whatever that abomination was in the first teaser really shows the respect that they have for the fans and the property. And it's really truly a case of, hey, you give the fans what they want, and you'll get rewarded for it with a good box office return, because those movies have made more and more money each time they've come out. So, and you have the fourth one coming out next year. So, I really appreciate what those movies have done, and I think they've done a great job. An honorable mention, and this is a little bit of a cheat because it's more direct to video, but I also like Halo Legends. I really think it does a good job of capturing a lot of the lore from the Halo games that we didn't get to see in the games, like especially seeing the Forerunner Flood conflict and the development of the Halo rings in that first short. The animation in some of those shorts are really cool. It's really fun. If you're a Halo fan, you'd love it. It came out a long time ago, so it should. I think I watched it free on YouTube. So I mean that's how old it is. So uh, that's an honorable mention. But definitely the Sonic movies I think are some of the best video game adaptations to screen. And of course next year we got Legend of Zelda coming out, and we'll see how that one goes. You know, knock on wood that Sony does that property justice. But before I get out of here, just to let you know what I'm watching. I just finished the extended version of Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies. Overall, I would say the extended versions of the Hobbit movies are good, and there's some really good stuff in them. And like I said last week, there's moments where it's like, why did you cut that one, 30-second clip or that line? It adds so much more context. Um, but overall, I can understand most of the time why they cut what they cut, and I appreciate it, being back in for the extended versions, and that's probably how I'll watch them since I love the extended versions of Lord of the Rings, and it's like this way I can just kind of keep the theme going of I want as much Middle Earth as possible. I enjoyed those. Obviously, I watched the final episode of Daredevil Born Again season 2. Review for that is out on my Substack right now, so go check that out. I also watched the special presentation from Marvel on Disney Plus, Punisher: One Last Kill. Watched it. I have a review for that coming out next Wednesday. So, and that's free for all subscribers. Again, TV shows I won't really have a spoiler-free review. It's just going to be free article, full spoilers, just because I think that's the easiest way to review a TV show. Um, and speaking of reviews, to give you a heads up, there's going to be a lot of reviews coming. Obviously, we are heading into summer movie season. Mandalorian and Grogu, I have tickets to see that opening weekend, so you'll be getting a spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review for paid subscribers. And then next month, I'm basically seeing a movie every week, so you'll get a review every week, some with spoiler reviews and some not. I'll let you know which ones as I go. Some of them, like the Odyssey, I don't really think I can do a spoiler review on because it's the Odyssey. So unless Christopher Nolan's really gonna just go off the rails, off the beaten path, crazy with the story, there's really no reason. I can't spoil a story that's what centuries old at this point, so I won't do one for that. But one like Disclosure Day, I'm probably going to do a spoiler review on that, just because of how secretive it's been. But so be on the lookout for that. I'll have a lot of reviews out there for you to read as the summer movie season goes on. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much, as always, for listening and your support. I really do appreciate it. I cannot do this without you guys. I love doing this. I love that I get to start building this as a business, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to put in my best effort with every podcast and every article that I give you. So I want you to know, whether you're a paid subscriber or a free subscriber, you will get my best. And I hope that you, if you have some spare change, that you can just continue to support my efforts in that. But that's all I got for today. I will see you next week with more news. Bye.